Hey guys, it's Quinn with HuntWise, and I'm going to walk you through how to field dress a deer. Now there's a few things you're going to want to gather before you start field dressing a deer. You're going to want to get a pair of latex gloves, a nice fixed blade knife, and then I also like to have a bone saw with me, and I use this to actually split the pelvis bone. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure you tag, telecheck, phone check, whatever your state regulations require before you move that deer and before you start gutting it. Once you've done all that, I'm then going to take the latex glove, I'm going to put them on, and then I'm going to take my fixed blade knife and I'm going to start at the rear of the animal. What I like to do is I like to take my knife and I'm going to push it in and cut all the way around the anus. What that does is it releases that large intestine from the rest of the skin, and that'll come in handy in the last step. Now that I've cut around that anus, I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to go just north of the genitalia. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting into that thin membrane, that thin skin there. It's a really easy spot to start because there's not a lot of extra fat and stuff. And so I like to take the tip and I like to just easily cut in. I'm not going to poke in really hard because there's things that you don't want to cut into right there. I'm just going to cut through that hair gently and then cut through that really thin layer of skin. And I'm going to cut down towards that anus going right across that pelvis. I'm going to take my knife again, and this time I'm going to flip it so the blade is pointed up, the sharp side up to the sky. And then I'm going to take two fingers again. I'm going to be pressing down with the back side of my hand against the intestines and the stomach. And now I'm going to take it and I'm going to gently work my way up all the way to the sternum bone, right up here. Once I've reached that sternum bone, I'm going to stop. I don't want to go any further, especially if this is a buck that you want to mount. You want to leave as much hide and cape intact for your taxidermist as possible. Now I'm going to grab my bone saw. And I'm going to take that bone saw and I'm going to saw through that pelvis. It'll split the pelvis bone and the rear legs will just flop over. That makes it really easy when I grab on to all those intestines and the stomach contents and I pull through. It doesn't leave any intestines attached to the animal. I will then take my knife and I'm going to press down with the palm of my hand, and I'm going to press down all of the stomach and everything, and I'm going to show myself where that diaphragm is. Now the diaphragm is going to be a thin layer of red meat that's attached to the rib bones there. I press down on that stomach, and then I can take my knife and I can cut all the way around the rib bones. So I'm going from one side all the way around to the other, and that's going to allow you to get up into where the lungs and the heart is. Once I've cut that diaphragm, I'm going to then reach up inside the body cavity, and you're going to feel the lungs, you're going to feel the heart, and then you're going to feel this tube-like structure. That tube-like structure is actually the esophagus, and you need to cut that esophagus as far up as you can, and what that'll do is that's going to release the heart and the lungs from the rest of the body. You're actually going to have to cut that heart away from the bottom of that rib cage as well. Then what I can do is I can grab all the stomach contents, the guts, the lungs, the heart, and then I can pull straight back through those legs that I split. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to pull all those guts out in one piece. You're not leaving behind anything that you don't want left behind. You'll see sometimes that there's extra pieces of fat in there. You can go ahead and cut those away too. Now the last step that I like to do in the field is I'm going to either pick that animal up and drain the rest of the blood out that's left kind of sitting in there, pooling in there, or I'll just flip it over so that split you made is facing down to the ground. Now, as you can see, it's a really simple and easy process. It should only take 3 to 5 minutes once you've done this a number of times. For those first few times, it's going to take longer. Don't get discouraged. It's easy to do, but once you do it, it drops a lot of weight when you're dragging these deer out of the field.